Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Storytime with me, Mr. G, where I'm going to read the stories and you're going to come along for the adventures. Now, today's book is an incredible one because it is about an amazing person, and her name is Malala Yousafzai, and that's actually the name of the book, Malala Yousafzai. It looks like Malala Yousafzai, but it's actually pronounced Malala Yousafzai. Can you say that with me? Malala Yousafzai. It's a pretty cool name, right? And it was written by Isabel Sanchez Vegara, and it was illustrated by Manal Mirza. Now, Mr. G is wearing something that might seem a little different, or it might not because I'm sitting down and you can't see my whole outfit, but this is what we call shalwar kameez, and it is traditional wear worn by men in South Asian countries, which would be like Pakistan, which is where Malala is from. Now, if you don't know about Malala, you are in for a huge treat. And if you know about Malala, you're also in for a huge treat. I don't want to tell you too much before we get into the story. So if you have this book, go ahead and grab it and you can read along, or you can read the subtitles, or you can listen to my voice and I will take you on this adventure like I always do. But either way, it is time to go learn about Malala. Come on. In the beautiful Swat Valley in Pakistan lived a Muslim girl called Malala. Her home was humble, and so was the school for girls her father ran. Malala couldn't wait to grow up and attend class and discover all her talents. Even though education is every human's right, her mother never had the chance to learn how to read and write. Still, Malala hoped her life would be different. She wanted to prove to everyone that girls can have big dreams too. But Malala's dream became a nightmare when a violent group called the Taliban took control of her valley. They banned most of the things she liked, from listening to music to taking photographs and even flying kites. The Taliban believed that instead of going to school, girls should get married, cover their bodies from head to toe, and never leave the house without their husbands or brothers. It was like being in prison for doing nothing wrong. In just a heartbeat, the Taliban destroyed hundreds of all-girls schools and made parents scared to send their daughters to class. Malala and the rest of the students wondered what they could do to stop the madness. Maybe the Taliban had bombs and guns, but Malala and her friends had books and pens to fight back with. They decided to raise their voices and speak up about how important it was for their future to attend school. They shared their story on local television, and soon Malala was asked to write a diary about her life under Taliban rule for the BBC. She used the name of a heroine from one of her favorite Pashtun tales, Gul Makai. But for the Taliban, there was nothing scarier than a girl willing to speak up. One day, Malala and two of her friends were shot on their way back home from school. Malala was very badly injured. The whole world cried for her. When Malala woke up, she couldn't recognize her room. She had been taken to a hospital in England far away from home. But children all over the world had written get well wishes. There was a pile of letters waiting to be read. Malala did not just get better, but stronger and louder. She knew her story was the story of millions of other girls too. With her father's help, she created a foundation to improve their lives and their education. 2 years later, she became the youngest person ever to receive the Nobel Prize. Malala brought with her some brave friends from Pakistan, Nigeria, and Syria, who deserved the same recognition. From the White House to refugee camps, Malala traveled the world speaking up about every child's right to go to school. But as soon as she was settled in her new home in England, it was time for her to attend class. The day she received her degree from the University of Oxford was one of her happiest. Still, the next morning, she woke up ready to fight for all the little Malalas in the world and their right to dream as big as they want. And she will keep doing so. Whoa! What a story, huh? What a journey Malala has gone on. What a life she's lived in her short time on Earth. Oh my goodness, she was shot and survived. And it's not only that she was shot and survived, it's the reason she was shot. She was shot because she understood that education is for everyone, that everyone has a right to education and to improve themselves. And she was not going to let anybody, especially the Taliban, tell her that girls weren't allowed to go to school. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being told that you can't go to school because you're a girl, or that you can't listen to certain music, or that you can't fly a kite, or read, or do so many things? Or you have to dress a certain way in the entire country? Can you imagine that? Mr. G sure can't. And Malala saw that it wasn't right, and she stood up for that, and she was punished by this insane group. But she recovered and has since done so much work to ensure that girls and women get to have an education. And that is just the coolest thing ever. The coolest thing ever. Her voice won't be silenced. It makes Mr. G so happy. And she was the recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. Oh my goodness. That's a big, big deal. If you don't know about the Nobel Peace Prize, you're gonna have to Google some stuff and ask your parents or your grandparents or aunt and uncle or somebody, because it is a huge deal, like a huge deal. Well, anyways, I really, really hope that you enjoyed this story about Malala and the journey she went on and her advocacy for women's rights and girls' rights to education and to live a free life. And if you did, I hope you'll like this video, subscribe, share, hit the bell notifications. That way you'll know when Mr. G comes out with new books. And if you want this book, click on the link in the description. And I just hope you really enjoyed this, because I certainly did. As always, you are fabulous, and I love that about you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace out.